Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Extra Holes. Welcome, Alex Kohler, Master PGA Professional, along with your other host, Joe Rocha, also PGA Professional. A lot to talk about today, Alex. What do you think? Do you want to start right in with tour talk? We had Ryder Cup captains picks, and we had your friend and an acquaintance of mine, Megan Khang, win at last. In her 8th year on tour. She's been knocking on the door, so it was great to finally see her win. We'll get into that as well. What do you want to tackle first, Alex? Ryder Cup or Miss
Listen,
Kang?
Ryder Cup could get a little, it could get ugly. We need to save Ryder Cup for after Megan.
Okay.
Because I think the Ryder Cup could get a little murky. So I would like to jump in and just say a big congratulations to Megan Khang for her first win on the LPGA Tour. I felt it was for sure going to happen. I thought maybe it happened a little sooner than her 8th year, but I knew, for those that don't know, I've known Megan since she was 6 years old at Harmon Golf and Fitness Club, where I used to teach. I met Megan and her father, Lee, and watching her hit balls as I walked by. I was heading to get some lunch. I stopped in my tracks, and I said, wow, who is this girl, and how could someone so small have such a great swing? Wow. So I actually turned around, got my video camera, came back, introduced myself to her father, Lee, and said, do you mind if I just take a video of your daughter? And that was the day a friendship started. I consider Lee a friend. I've known him, obviously for many, many years. And, I actually, from 6 years on, I saw Megan every single, I worked there for 8 years. And there wasn't a day that I worked that I didn't see Megan. She was practicing somewhere, doing something, playing golf. She kind of lived golf, which a lot of kids, if you have a passion, that kid is gonna, take it on and want to do it 24/7. And Lee, I would consider Lee kind of a golf junkie. He just loves golf and can't get enough of it himself. So it was perfect. He had a sidekick, his daughter. And so they had golf in their lives every day. It was wonderful to see her grow up. I consider her personally kind of a prodigy. She was really just very talented and had a game that was far ahead of her actual, birth number of years. You look at a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old and you see the game, you say, that's an 18-year-old's game. It's not an 8-year-old's game, but like I said, she was just really, really talented. And Lee did a wonderful job coaching her, throughout. I got to play with her, many times. And I played in the Pro Junior with her a few times. It started off, the Pro Junior was originally 1 pro and 1 junior, and we won. She was just spectacular. Wow. She was making natural birdies,
Really?
I didn't have to get out of the cart, on some holes.
In what age? What age did you start?
Megan.
What age did you start? What age was she? Was she 12 or?
I don't know, 10.
10. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you dominate the Pro Junior.
And then it became a Pro and 3 juniors, and there was not a Pro Junior that I had Megan as a partner that we didn't win. And it wasn't because of me. Okay, I'll tell I did okay. But
you're humble, Alex, great player, but
so
I get it.
So Megan went straight to the LPGA Tour through the qualifying process, straight from high school, which she could have gone to really any college she wanted to out of full scholarship, but she chose the professional route. So she's kind of, she went the LeBron James route, straight out of high school to professional. And again, 8 years, but she's done well throughout. She's played in 2 Solheim Cups already. She's got a 3rd Solheim Cup coming up. She got her first win I was absolutely glued to the television, Joe.
Yeah.
Obviously I just cheering her on as hard as I could through the TV. Um, she had a 3-stroke lead going into the Sunday round. A few bogeys. Couple of them were really good par putts that she hit. That just, gosh, I don't know how they missed. It wasn't like she was playing bad golf, but her putters certainly, they just weren't falling. And she got actually one, for those that didn't see it, she went from a 3-stroke lead to a 1-stroke deficit going into 18. Right. She needed to birdie 18 to force a playoff. And she hit it right down the middle. She drove the ball so good all tournament. I mean, she was amazing. And then she hit her iron to about 5 feet and made the putts. So
classic Megan fashion there.
She was 3 over for the, I think she was 3 over for the day going into 18, which she birdied. So she finished 2+2 on the day. I could, as I watched her, I could see she was like really trying to breathe and calm herself down. She knew that she kind of was in control, and now she's on 18 and she's just like, oh my God, where'd my lead go?
Yeah.
And she's breathing, and she certainly knew that the moment was heavy. And in the heaviest moment, she came up. In my mind, I said, a legend. When you have to stick it, when you have to make birdie.
Yeah.
She made 18 look very pedestrian, and it's not an easy, an easy hole. And then she did one in the first playoff hole. She made par, and she got the victory.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna springboard her to a lot of victories, because sometimes I wrote her a message saying, you can't win 3 in a row until you win the first.
There you go.
I'm hoping she can get 3 in a row. I know that she's playing right now in a tournament, and she opened up with 66, and she's in 3rd position. And if she keeps going this weekend, I can't wait to watch it this afternoon.
Yeah.
Hopefully she can go back to back. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So, now her opponent in the playoff, Joe,
Jin Young Ko, if not number one in the world, former number one in the world, and she's top 5 in the world.
And she's had how many victories did you say she had? You seem like
I believe she's had 21 victories. So she was going up against Jin Young Ko, 21 victories. Se Young Kim, I think Se Young has had about 15 victories. So Megan, interestingly, that was her first experience with the lead after the first round of that tournament. So in 8 years on tour, that's the first time she's ever had a lead, which goes to show what the level of competition is on these pro tours.
Yeah.
She's had 33 top 10 finishes, but it's different being in that lead. And it's so nice for her. So nice to see that she got experience being the leader, not just, a top 10 finisher, just to experience all those, like you said, all those emotions and feelings. Yeah.
And so I got two little extras, and then we can move on to the Ryder Cup. But one, sometimes it's not just, and I certainly want you to give me your opinion. Sometimes it's not just getting the win, Joe. Sometimes it's how you get the win. I think Megan will look back on that and just embrace the lion inside her. She didn't fold or buckle. She was 3 over on the round, going to 18, had to make birdie, stuffed it
Yeah.
in there, made the putt, beat her in a playoff. You know, if Megan had in regulation shot 2 under par instead, you know, she was 3 over going into the last hole. Let's say she played much better and, you know, she didn't have all those bogeys and she was -2. You know, she'd be going to the 18th hole with a couple stroke lead, right?
Yeah.
And she would have still got the victory. She
Right.
could have said, oh, you know, I played pretty solid. And, you know, she wins the tournament by 2 or 3. Still incredible. But actually, going back to the field and then having to come up big
Yeah.
on the last hole, I almost feel like that can spur her even more.
It gives her an
Because
extra boost.
inside, she'll know from this day forever. It doesn't matter if I'm down or if I'm having a bad last round, if I'm a couple over. She can always draw, hey, you know what? I was a couple over in my first win and I never gave up and I took the trophy. And that's what she did. She took it. So I think how she won may help her more in the future than if she had shot 3, 4 under and just kind of lapped the field and got a victory. What's your take on that, Joe?
Oh, I think you're right. I think it does give her a boost to have that experience, like you said, having the lead, then losing the lead, and then summoning in her the, you know, the competitiveness, the drive, the will to make
the
that
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. And that's what I remember. That's what I remember about Lee. I got to play with Lee once through a mutual friend, and from what he told me, he really trained Megan in the competitive mental aspects of the game. They played a lot. They played competitively against one another a lot. They played a lot of different mind games. You know, in just a really cool way, just to sort of prepare Megan for competition. So what was interesting to me was, like, just looking back on the tournament and how it went. Of course, 4 rounds. 4 rounds in and of itself. I mean, that's a topic for another show, but it's interesting, right? Because in golf, a unique thing, like so many things are unique with golf, we carry over from one day to the next, you know, our score. You know, you watch the World Series and game 1 is game 1. It's over, you move on, you start game 2, 0-0. So as we know with golf, 4 rounds is cumulative. So first round, Megan gets the lead. Second round, she's leading once again. And I think she may have had maybe a 2-shot lead. And she's playing with, now she's separated herself a little bit. So it almost reminded me, I was saying to you, Alex, that it almost reminded me of the Tiger days where Tiger, you know, first round shoots 70, you know, he's 15th, 20th. Second round, all right, now he's, you know, second or third. Third round, now he's taking the lead. And then it's over. You know, back in the Tiger days, once he got that lead in the third round, he wasn't going to give it up. So what happened was Megan took the lead round 1, maintained the lead round 2. I want to say she increased the lead round 2. Now it was her, they separated themselves. It was her and Lynn Grant. And I get the sense, my point partly in this is I get the sense Megan is a difficult player to play head to head. I think her bread and butter is match play, because it almost in the third round looked as if she looked at it as a match play situation. And with the Solheim Cup coming up, it was almost like a Solheim Cup matchup, her versus Lynn Grant. And she beat her like soundly. I think Megan shot 3 or 4 under, and Lynn Grant might have shot 1 or 2 over. I mean, she put Lynn Grant out of the tournament. And so then now the fourth round, I don't know if she quite had that head-to-head type mentality. She's playing with Se Young Kim, but then all of a sudden, I'm sure things start moving fast. It's interesting when the great players talk about their great performances, things slow down, whether it's a quarterback or a batter at the plate or a golfer, things tend to slow down. It looked like for Megan, things sped up, on the back nine, because now all of a sudden, Jin Young Ko, I think Megan even said she looked and Jin Young, like, where did she come from? She had that kind of response. And Jin Young Ko, wow, she showed to me, just because we were, like you said, glued to that final round, she showed a little bit how she's won so many times out there. That art to winning, you could tell it wasn't good enough for her just to finish top 10 and make a good paycheck. She really didn't let the bad shots get her down. She made birdie when she had the opportunity, and she just hung in there, and she managed to get into a playoff with Megan and rattle Megan a little bit too. And that's what those great players do. We see Tiger on the leaderboard back in the day. It rattled everybody, and that's what Jin Young Ko, I think, did to Megan. So back to your question, yes, I think she got like a double benefit from the tournament. She dominated the tournament, but then her kind of emotions, I think things sped up. Her emotions got the best of her. She got pushed by the best in the world. She dug down deep, made that birdie. It doesn't get any better than that. And then went into a playoff with Jin Young Ko, and Megan hit it right down well, I think Jin Young Ko was first to play. She hit it left into the brush or whatever. And then Megan, just like you said, piped it down the middle, and it was pretty much over at that point. So, yeah, no, great to see Megan again go from sort of a top finisher to champion. It was great to see her hold that trophy. So we'll see what that does for her, going forward.
And at the end, Joe, wasn't lost on me how many people came out on the green and doused Megan with whatever, water, champagne, whatever they were doused. There were a lot of players that hung around for the conclusion of the tournament and came out to congratulate her. I think that says a lot about, Megan as a person and how well liked she is on tour.
Yes.
And so I thought, and even and I know she's known Brooke Henderson for years and years, even I think as junior players. But Brooke's Canadian. That's kind of that's the tournament. That's a tournament she really wants to win. I'm sure I think she has won it. But anyway, she at the end, she stuck around. She wanted to give Megan a hug and a congratulatory, high five, and it was great to see. It's one of the things that I think the LPGA maybe has a little bit. I think they root for each other a little bit more on the LPGA tour than say the PGA tour. There's a little bit of a different, I think, relationship with all the girls. I think they're more friendly to each other. Like they want to be friendly to the other players versus I think the PGA tour. You kind of have your team and your little bubble, and you have a couple, but it's not everyone's not kind of hugging each other, high fiving, and it's not quite as maybe close of a yeah.
Do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, do you think Megan is in the category of like a Heinrich Stenson? They say he's very funny on the golf course, or even like a Lee Trevino. Like, it seems like she talks a lot out there, and I think probably a lot of players sort of appreciate that, because a lot of players, most of the players, and understandably so, with the strains of competition, the nature of golf, need to be more sort of reserved, keep their emotions under, control and check. And Megan's out there and she's just kind of winging it, like emotionally, which is really cool. And then maybe that turns a few players off too. I kind of, and I want to see what you think of that when you played with her. She just seems like she's got a great sort of energy on the golf course and just kind of lets it fly, and it is not too, she's not, certainly not too tight with her, with the way she kind of handles herself out there. But again, I was just glad to see her win, because although I love, you know, that she's popular out there, you know, I also wanted to see her compete and win too. Like, you know, it's great to have friends, it's great to be popular, but you know, I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, Megan, let's, you know, knowing her a little bit through you and another friend, like let's see if we can kind of bear down and block some things out and get it done, which she did. So, but what do you think her attitude? Any, when you've played with her, did she strike you at all with her sort of on course?
I just feel like she can bear down when she needs to, like when it's ready to hit the shot, she's in the moment. And then when it's between shots, she can have a conversation almost about anything. But I've never played with her when she's playing in a tournament, right? So I played with her in casual rounds where, yeah, she wants to hit her shot, she wants to do well. And you know, is she more talkative on that day than she would be, say, in an LPGA round of golf? Maybe.
Yeah.
So I really can't. I don't know, because
I got you.
But I do know that I felt like she did a really good job of, you know, really bearing down when it was her turn. She knew her routine doesn't change. She's just she's done it, you know, a million times. And then when it's not her turn, if you want to, you know, she talks to you about anything. So
sure. Great stuff for Megan. We'll keep an eye on her this weekend too.
Oh, I can't wait. It's
maybe she makes it 2 in a row.
Going to come on this evening, because it's a West Coast tournament, and I will be front row at a TV somewhere, cheering her on. Cool. Okay, Joe.
Okay,
Ryder Cup talk. It's time.
Ryder Cup.
So
I know you have some
qualifiers. Qualifiers are qualifiers, right? If you've earned the points, there is no, I would never say, well, gosh, I wish Brian Harman didn't qualify. I don't think like that.
Right.
If you've played good enough to make the team on points, then you have played very consistently good / great golf over the 2 years that you can, you know, play golf to acquire points. So big congratulations to all 6 automatic qualifiers. They're obviously the cream of the crop. They were the best players and they earned the most points, right?
You're talking the 6 best American players over the last 2 years. I mean, you talk about an elite group of players. 6.
That's right.
It's crazy. Now
top dogs.
Yeah. So now the team consists of 12 players. Do you think it's excessive? I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but we might as well just get it on the table. Do you think it's excessive that the captain picks half the team?
I don't like it. I think it should be, if I could change it, I would go 10 and 2.
Yeah, and that's what it used to be.
I feel like, you know, the top 10 in points should be on the team. There is no discussion. And let the captain have free will to pick 2 players that he wants.
Maybe a hot player that's
for
played
whatever
well.
reason.
Right.
You know, he gets 2 under his discretion. I think picking 6 is. I think it makes the captain. It puts him more in the hot seat than he should be.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
If it's 10 and 2, it's like, okay, well, the captain really, you know, that team made it. But giving them 6 and saying you have to pick 6.
Yeah.
Gosh, to what is there a spotlight on Zach Johnson or what? It's like, man, don't screw up these 6 And I almost think it's unfair to have him pick 6.
Yeah,
that's my
I
personal
thought
take.
so too. I
Joe,
agree.
I don't think it should be that much. I don't think it should be that much.
But he did pick 6, and what do we think about
He
the pick
had
6?
to. The first pick was. I mean, I'm going to kind of go in order, sort of from guys closest to making to guys furthest to making on points.
Yeah.
The guy who was number 7 on the list is Brooks Koepka, and he earned all of his points in the majors because he doesn't play on the PGA Tour; he plays in the Live Tour. And he only missed automatic qualifying by it was like the equivalent of $29,000. So, if Brooks had played, if he was allowed to play in any tournament,
he
would have made 30 grand. He would have automatically qualified. Right. But obviously Brooks, that was we know he should be on the team because he's really one of the best American players in the world. But now it's well, do we add a live player or do we exclude all live players? Because I think that was if you are going to include a live player, then you could include 2 live players.
It opens it up, doesn't it? Or 3.
It's if you are going to make that decision to say, okay, live, we don't care, you're good, we want you.
It opens the door now.
Do I think more live players should have been included?
DJ.
Personally, I think at least one. I would have loved to have seen Dustin Johnson, who former number 1 player in the world. He just oozes talent, oozes confidence.
Set a record. Last year's Ryder Cup, Alex, 5-0. First player to ever.
He's got a wonderful record. He's great in the team room. Listen, he's just a smooth cat.
Yeah.
He's going to make everyone feel good. Hey, man, no problem. You just know how he is. He strolls. He strolls in and nothing bothers him.
Great walk. He's
pairing him and Brooks. That's not a bad pairing.
they'd be tough to beat. I would say.
They'd be tough to beat, man. Forget that.
Brooks and DJ.
I want to follow that group. I want to go right behind that group.
Zach said you can't leave JT home. How do you leave DJ home? Anyway, I'm jumping ahead.
If he drew a line in the sand and just said, if a live player qualifies, they qualify. And if they don't, I'm not going to give them a pick. I don't have to agree or not, but I could say, oh, great. He drew a line in the sand and he said, I'm going to stick to it. But the fact he made a pick that was a live.
Okay.
I definitely think he could have made a second pick. And some might even say he could have made a third pick. Bryson DeChambeau is playing really, really good golf. He loves the Ryder Cup. He is the guy that's tough to beat at the Ryder Cup. And I think right now he's in really good form. So you could have picked him too. The picks that he did make, Joe, I have to refocus.
Okay, let's refocus.
That's my live take. My live take is he could have picked at least one more, if not 2 more, that I think would have absolutely helped this team win the Ryder Cup. Let's see. Who's next? He picked Burns.
Real quick, I have it up. I'll help you out here because it gets confusing, I know. But real quick, I counted of Zach's 6 picks. I counted 5 that could be interchanged. We'll say we agree with Brooks. The other 5 could have been different players. They could have been DJ, they could have been Bryson, they could have been Cam Young, could have been Keegan Bradley, and could have been Lucas Glover. But anyway, okay. To answer your question, second pick in the 8th spot sits Jordan Spieth. Who Zach picked? Thoughts on Jordan?
Now, I don't like the pick. I'm sorry.
What's he done lately? I mean, you have to ask that.
Jordan is not very accurate. He's not one of the longest guys, so he's not a bomber. Not very accurate, and if his putter's not really on fire,
yeah,
he's not going to beat anybody.
I love it.
So I don't think
Nice
Jordan
take.
was a great pick. Now here's one thing I should add, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know this course. Like,
yeah,
if I had in my brain, oh man, this course sets up great for Cam Young. I don't know the course, Joe. I don't know the layout. I don't know where the carries are. I don't know if it's narrow, penal. There's a lot of water, no water.
Okay. Well,
so
but real quick.
I wish I knew the course because it would make me sound smarter.
Okay.
When I'm taking people off this team.
No, I get it. Okay, but look let's put our heads together. If we could picture the course like the sort of stereotypical like American course is more wide open.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe the rough, it's not as penal, the rough, because now you take away our advantage being probably longer hitters overall. So I'm thinking that this course in Italy is a little more narrow.
Yeah.
Taller, the rough is up. And they're going to try to negate, the bomb and gouge factor.
The course setup will absolutely be course setup will absolutely be to penalize the US team the most. They will figure out,
of course,
what they can do to give us problems.
Yeah.
So Jordan Spieth, honestly, I don't think he's a great pick.
Not a big fan.
I would rather pick. I will go with who would I replace him with?
Well, next on the list, number 9, perhaps Cam Young. Cam
Young's a great player. If you're serious about winning, Keegan Bradley's I think he's a bulldog. I think he's playing really good.
Okay, let's go down. Let's go down the list real quick. Hold off on Keegan. Hold on, because he's that's a big topic. Okay, let's just go right down the list. I've got a real quick thing. So you had great take on Jordan. Okay, we got Jordan covered. And here's the thing: since only 6 qualify and he has 6 captain's picks, the fact that Spieth finished 8th, which is remarkable, right? We got to give
correct
credit where credit's due. 8th best American over the last 2 years, incredible.
I give it to him.
But because we're in this situation of 6 qualify and 6 picks, it doesn't matter that you're 8th. You're just in a big group of players that are being considered for the Ryder Cup at that point because you didn't qualify on points. So it didn't, you'd weigh that. Don't get me wrong. You'd weigh the position of the player, but it wouldn't be the make or break. So I would say Cam Young, I'm thinking back to when they picked Scottie Scheffler. Who picked him?
Good pick.
Stricker. Stricker picked Scheffler before Scheffler had won on the PGA Tour, played in the Ryder Cup. It was a springboard, and he's won, a half dozen or 10 times, however many times. Okay, so the same thing could have happened with Cam Young. Let's give this kid, this guy, this gentleman a boost to his career. He's like on the edge of just bursting out, kind of like a Megan, right? He just needs that one win. And I think to pass him up on this Ryder Cup team is really too bad. I think he could have used a little bit of a boost.
Now he's known as a very good driver of the ball, would you say?
Yeah, good driver of the ball. bulldog type mentality. He's all business out there.
Yeah.
I like that about Cam. All business.
Yeah.
Great bombs it. Great
You
driver.
know,
Went toe to toe with Rory and Cam Smith at the British Open. Not this year, but last. Yeah.
He's certainly more capable of intimidating somebody than Jordan Spieth.
Next on the list, yeah, I would agree with that. Next on the list is number 10, Colin Morikawa, who Zach picked.
I love him. Love him.
Yeah, and could be a good fit for that golf course.
Great iron player.
Yeah.
I mean,
remarkable iron player.
He needs to be on that team.
He literally averages proximity to hole with his 6-iron closer to the tour average with a wedge. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
No question there. Needs to be a pick. Needs to be on the team. Happy he's on the team.
Okay. I told you we'd get back to him. Number 11. The one Keegan Bradley.
Well, he did make it. So I thought you were naming the guys that did make it.
No, I'm just going down the list of where they ranked, and then we can stop when they pick you know what I mean?
Here's my take on some of these picks. I know that it's 2 years to acquire points, right?
Right.
So let's say in the first year you are just can't miss, just lighting it up, points after points. You're getting good points, good finishes. You're getting a couple wins. The second year you switch coaches, you go through a swing change, and you change putter, and all of a sudden you're like, if you crack the top 30, you're lucky. Now you've already amassed enough points really to be kind of high up on the list.
Yeah.
But your form the last 8 months has really not been good. So we're looking at points, right? Okay, this guy's number 11. This guy's, it'd be great to really deep dive and find out where the majority of these points came from. I mean, you and I, just on an eye test, Joe, probably could say, hey, Lucas Glover's playing pretty good now. He won 2 in a row. He's an unbelievable ball striker. He's extremely accurate. And when his putting's good, he wins.
He went into a playoff with Cantlay and go ahead. Sorry, keep on going on that.
A year ago, I don't think he amassed too many Ryder Cup points.
Right.
I don't think he did anything. Now, he's a guy that's on fire now. Cam Young, is his game peaking now, Joe? Or would you say, because you brought up the British Open, which was when?
That was 14 months ago.
That was a year ago.
Please. I know.
What have you done for me lately?
Okay, but Alex, this is going to have to. No, I know. We're going to have to bring rewind back because next time we're going to have to rewind it because I have to think that these points are weighted, right? Like at the beginning of that 2-year cycle would be weighted less than at the end of the 2-year cycle. You would hope. So a win.
No way.
No, a win that happens.
I think they're weighted more if you win a major. If you win a major versus the Honda Classic, that weighs more.
Right, but the time you win it, it doesn't matter. I would sort of like to see that be a change.
If it does, I would be shocked.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm hoping it does.
If you won the U.S. Open a year ago, and those points were less than if I win a U.S. Open this year, if I was last year's U.S. Open winner, I'd be like, are you kidding me?
All right, you know what? We don't touch let's say we don't touch the majors. A major's a major. But I would weight the points differently for tournaments as we get closer. Oh, of course.
Do I even know you anymore? What's going on?
What? We want, as you said, we want the players who are playing best right now. And Lucas Glover, I think he should have gotten more points for his 2 wins than I'm looking at the list. Yeah. Than Spieth did and he won, 20 months ago. So that's something we're going to have to rewind. I think you're going to be correct, though. I don't think the points are weighted differently as we get closer, to the 2-year cycle. But I think they should be. I'm putting emotion into the PGA. Aren't we involved in this Ryder Cup, the PGA?
I
We
believe so.
are. We pick the PGA picks the. What do we know about the PGA Tour? I mean, it's great we're involved. I'm not saying it's not great, but it's a separate topic, but it is kind of an interesting thing. I know yeah, we picked the captain. I mean, I think our mission should be more about
Where's Patrick Cantlay? He qualified, right?
Cantlay qualified. He's in fourth position. He won
Okay.
late. No, he finished. Did he win a tournament and then finish
Well, he
runner up?
won I think he won the FedEx Cup last year. I mean, he
Oh, right.
really
He
played
did.
well.
He did. But then
Now,
he kind of
now
semi-retired. I mean,
did he play as good this year as he did
no.
last year?
No, he didn't.
I mean, when did you
No.
see Cantlay? What did he
No.
win?
He popped
But
up.
he,
Lucas Glover beat him in a playoff. I was going to mention that. Lucas Glover went into a playoff with Cantlay at one of the FedEx Cup events, and Lucas got the better of him. So
he took him
Cantlay
down. Who
took him
remembers
down.
second place? I don't know.
I know. So there's a good example right there. Cantlay, we love him. Unbelievable player. FedEx Cup champ last year.
I actually
I
don't
emphasize.
love him.
You don't? What
No,
don't you love?
I think from just he's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't like his demeanor. I don't like how he interacts with people. I don't like his slow play.
He's a little cold. He's a little
If
cold.
I had to watch him, if they had just highlights of him, I would turn the TV off. I don't need to see it.
I'll tell you what, though, he gained my respect last year, come to think of it, going head to head with Jon Rahm and got the best of Jon Rahm. And he went head to head with two players last year, and he earned my respect. And I'm not saying that, I don't agree with you on what you said about him. He went head to head in a playoff with Bryson DeChambeau. It was an epic playoff. Bryson should have won. Bryson should have won that tournament. I think it was the BMW from last year. Could have been the previous year now that Bryson's with Liv. But that was an epic playoff. And then he beat out Jon Rahm at the Tour Championship. Not this year, but last. And that was impressive with Jon Rahm sort of at the height of his game. He went toe to toe, which I didn't think was really possible, but he did. So it was I almost see him, even this is a stretch, but I almost see him like an underdog a little bit, who's hanging with all the big boys. So in that sense, I do have a spot for Patrick in my in my sort of love for his competitiveness and game. But I know he turns people off and can rub people the wrong way. Okay. What about just a couple other players here? Sam Burns, another one that maybe hasn't won lately, right? When was Sam's last win? Oh, he won the match.
I don't know.
He won the match play.
Tell you.
No, he won the match play this year in Austin.
He won the match play.
WGC. How quickly we forget. I mean, that's a pretty good.
Let's get back to Sam for a second.
Okay. Sam, we're talking about Sam.
I want to go with Fowler.
You want to get back to Sam. You want to go to Fowler.
And I want to connect Fowler with Glover. Okay. Which one is higher on the list of points? Which one of those two?
Fowler's 13th. Glover is 16th.
Okay. So that doesn't really make my point. My point is this. Fowler really lost his game for a while. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Last year didn't have a great year. This year, a big resurgence. Yeah?
Yes, won an event. The Rocket or one of those events. Running up to the
played pretty good in the US Open. Definitely had a resurgence. Yeah?
Yes.
Glover, you say the same thing this year versus last year?
Yes, Ricky did contend at the U.S. Open as well. Took the lead into the final round at the U.S. Open.
I mentioned the
Okay.
U.S. Open. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Yes,
So
Glover.
of those
Absolutely.
two, we we would agree both those players this year and Glover very recently are peaking
They're hot.
versus last year. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
So of those two, which one would you rather have on the team? So
That's
you
so
gotta go
tough.
through strengths and weaknesses, right? Who's
Yeah.
the better driver of the ball? Who's got better
Right.
iron play? Who's making more putts? Like
Right.
who would you pair? You know, you could almost pair anybody with Lucas because he's not gonna miss fairways or greens.
Lucas hits it so straight. He's one of the best ball strikers out there. And you know
So
what? Back to the golf course,
it's
Alex.
like,
The golf course might fit Lucas just
you know,
perfectly.
it's like, yeah, I think Lucas and Brian Harmon. Let's put them as partners.
Well, the
That's a
thing,
W.
yeah. Oh, wow. What a great pairing that would be. So, you get the, I'm just thinking off the top of my head now, this thing about the whole like locker room, kind of thing. Who would we'll say Ricky gets the edge in the locker room category. People like Ricky, you know, over Lucas. But I mean, I'd weigh much more heavily the fact that Lucas can stand up there and stripe it down the middle of those tight fairways than, cutting it up in the locker room with the guys. What are we trying to do here? That's kind of what I was saying about Megan. Like, let's get the W. I don't care
Well,
if there's,
and
I
I
don't
think
care if
that's
there's,
how you have to do it. You have to say, okay, who's got the hot hand right now? You say,
I
well,
would
there's
like
two.
to have seen Lucas. I would have liked to have seen Lucas make the team.
So I would have picked personally Lucas over Fowler. Now, now you've got JT, right? He's the next captain's pick.
I mean, real quick on Ricky and Lucas. I mean, they're both outside the top 12, so it makes them like equal. It doesn't even matter at that point to me what they're ranked. They're outside the top 12. Captain's pick. Pick who you think's going to be a better fit. Back to your point for that golf course, and look to pairings. I think that Harmon and Lucas Glover pairing would just be off the charts good. Okay, who's your next one? What were you talking about? JT?
JT is JT is getting a lot of heat. Everyone, it seems like everyone who's critical of the picks that I've heard, ESPN, whatever, they're most critical of Justin Thomas, and they don't feel like his current, form the last year. They just don't feel like it merits him being on the team. They don't see.
I would agree.
How
Do you?
he's gonna all of a sudden play good, and the captain Zach said, "You just don't leave JT at home." I think he feels like Justin Thomas is that bulldog, and he is,
Yeah.
and he's great in the locker room, and he is.
Yeah.
But his form's not there.
No.
And if his form's not there, you can't bring him.
He said you can't leave JT home. Probably the best thing for JT would have been to have been left home. I mean, sometimes it seems like a player like that. I mean, and I love JT. How can you not love his game? Youthfulness, incredible talent, right? That Keegan called him a generational talent. He is. He's whining a lot on the golf course.
He's a brat.
He's agitated out there. So I think the best thing for him would have been to stay home and just, just take a little step back, kind of reassess where he's at, and not sort of reward him for his bad play, relatively speaking, and not so great behavior on the golf course. I think he needs like a reboot, not going to the Ryder Cup and playing the Ryder Cup. is really
And
the reboot he needs. But anyway,
okay, so this goes back to we're gonna go back a little bit. So who is gonna be his partner out there? Who's always been his partner, his buddy?
well,
They
his
love to
buddy
play together.
Jordan, his buddy Jordan, they've been
Jordan.
playing since they've been
So
12 years old.
so here's the deal. JT really needs to. He should have been left off the team. That's my opinion. Anyone can challenge that and have their own opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think his form is good enough to be on the team. Now, if you didn't put him on the team, again, I mean, you could have picked Bradley over him. You could have picked Glover over him. There's a lot of people you can.
Cam
You
Young.
know,
We can go to the
Cam
Live Tour. Go to the Live
Cam
Tour.
Young,
DJ
Live Tour.
Bryson.
I mean, if you were building a team and you really wanted to win, have you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yes,
Brad Pitt.
absolutely.
Okay, if anyone's seen Moneyball, they know what I'm saying. Like, you need to give me the numbers. I want to know who's hitting the fairways, or who can I pair. I want analytics to come into play just a bit. Who's got the hot hand?
Yeah.
Who can't miss inside 10 feet? Now, if you think he's a locker room, he's just gonna, maybe if there is a player that you know personally, Zach Johnson, that you just disdain and hate, and you feel like he'll poison the locker room, yes, maybe you'd leave that guy off. But
yeah.
I mean, how many guys could be that way? I just think if you did leave Thomas off the team because he doesn't belong, let me ask you two questions, Mr. Rocha.
Yes, sir.
Let's just say you could switch one player. You have to remove JT. What one player would you replace him with?
JT, I'd replace him with DJ.
Boom. Now, if you did that, would that influence your Spieth pick? Would you still say, I want to pick Spieth because I just removed Spieth's partner? JT is no longer on the team. Do you keep Spieth or do you replace Spieth?
Look, I love the tours. I love all the guys, right? I love Spieth. He wouldn't be a pick.
I want the truth.
He'd be out. It'd be tough. I mean, I say this now. I'm sitting here and I'm not. There's no implication. Spieth would be out.
Okay, now who'd you replace Spieth with?
I'm going Glover. I feel like they have the same type of game. Not super long.
Done.
So DJ and Glover.
If you just did those two moves, I think our team is upgraded big time.
Yeah, and how can you not love Spieth and Thomas? But sometimes let's make room for other players. I mean, they've played multiple Ryder Cups. They'll be on the Ryder Cup again. But this year, you know what?
Play better and make it on point so we don't have to do this.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're not I'm sorry. You shouldn't get picked. There are other players that can help the team more than you.
I think that's the exclamation point this podcast needed.
That's it.
What do you think?
That's it.
Is that a wrap? Have we said our piece? So can I ask you one question, Alex?
Do you want to know the truth?
And I want the truth.
You can't handle it. Okay.
I know. Sometimes I can't. You're right. I want your 6 picks right now. I'm putting you on the spot. If we have to rewind this thing, fine. I know names are swirling. Can you give me 6 right now on the spot? I'm going to write them down as you say them.
Well, Keegan Bradley, I think, should be on the team. I think he's playing
KB.
good. And
KB.
I think Keegan is, I just think Keegan's better than some of the other picks. So I would pick Keegan. Gosh. So again, if you're opening the live door, which he did, he picked Brooks. So yes. I'd pick DJ.
You're going DJ.
And
Are you going
You know,
Bryson?
the problem with picking Bryson, no, I can't go Bryson. I do you think a lot of people on the tour just don't like Bryson, or do you think he's very likable and they miss him? What do you think?
The players on the tour, I don't think miss him. The fans do, though.
So like that top six, those qualifiers, if you got in a room with your team that qualified, you're the captain, and you said, Bryson, what do you think? If all six said, I don't like the guy, it doesn't really matter how good he plays, you can't pick him.
As a captain or a coach, though, I'll tell you what, when I coached high school, we're on this big roll and we're feeling a little cocky, and I'd always do the lineup. And then one day, one of our players wanted to play with somebody else on the team. And I'm not saying this was the reason why we lost, but I took his input and I allowed it to happen, and we lost. I mean, there's a point where, you know, you're the captain, you're the coach. Like, I don't mean to sound, this is going to come off wrong, but I don't care what you think. This is what we're doing. You know, like you got, there's a reason why I'm coaching and you're playing, or I'm captain and you're playing. You don't, and in a way, you're taking your players off the hook a little bit. Like, guys, I don't even want your opinion. Don't get me wrong. I respect your opinion, but in this case, I don't want it. You guys focus on what you need to focus on. I'll focus what I need to focus on. And this is what we're doing.
Wow. You, sir, if I could swap out anybody right now, Zach would be gone, Rocha in as captain. I already think you do a better job.
Oh my God. Wow, I'll live on that what, like Mark, that's a Mark Twain. I'll live on that compliment, Alex, for like about 5 months. Thank you. Or a month, or whatever he said.
5 minutes. I think
5 minutes. Okay. That's good enough for me.
I think that was probably one of his biggest mistakes, is I think he waited too much. What do you guys think? Who should I pick? Who do you want to play
this is not
with?
what this is about.
And I think that Zach, again, I wasn't in the room, so but my gut tells me he was listening to too many people and wanted everybody's opinion, so that no matter what, his team could always say, well, I guess we lost it because we all, you know, we all wanted to be kumbaya. You know, I wanted my friend on, and, you know, instead of just saying, listen, these are the guys that are going to get it done.
I want to get back. Can we get back to 4 more? You gave me KB, Keegan Bradley, Dustin Johnson.
Well, then you mix it up, man. Listen, I'm cutting Spieth. I'm cutting JT.
No, I want who you want. I just want who you want.
So we're gonna go. I'm gonna pick DJ.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley.
Yeah, I got those two. Lucas.
As long as that putter's legal, I'll take Lucas. Morikawa.
Okay.
That's 4, right?
You got Brooks, 5.
Oh yeah, Brooks is the
because we agree on Brooks.
Brooks and DJ. You got Glover. You got Keegan Bradley.
Would you take Sam Burns?
Morikawa. Is that 5?
That's 5. This is a good spot right here, because now I want to know whether you take here's your last pick. You need to either take Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, or Sam Burns.
I want Colin should be on the team.
No, sorry.
He's one of my 5.
Yeah, he was one of your 5. So I want to know between Cam Young and Sam Burns, and I'll throw in, just for the heck of it, Russ Henley. But basically, it's between Cam Young and Sam Burns. Who would you take?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm going to give you my answer. It's a tough one. I would do a lot more research on those two and find out because I don't even know who has the hot hand right now of those two. I don't know who's playing really good this year. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you Sam Burns's strengths. I don't know if he's top 10 in putting. I really don't know about either player and what their strength is.
Right.
So, but if I had to give you an answer,
give me one. We've got a bomber in Cam Young, and we've got a obviously a long hitter in Sam Burns, but not a bomber. Sam, I'd say, is a little bit more all around game. You can't. Who
did Scheffler play with last year for the team events? Do you remember last time who Scheffler was paired with?
I can't tell you. I'm not sure. Actually, Cam Young went toe-to-toe with Sam Burns at the match play this year. Cam Young almost won. For what it's worth, he's got a great caddy on the bag. It's Webb Simpson's old caddy. Really good caddy, super positive guy. He'd be good. Even him would be good to have in the mix. I know it's a caddy, but
so I'd almost have to really look at who. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a dead heat, right?
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
At this point, I'd have to say, who would I pick? Like, okay, who would I if I pick Cam? You know, if it's a coin toss, if I pick Cam, who would I pair him with? And if I pick Sam, who would be his partner? You know, alternate shot. You need to have those pairings so that they make sense.
I get it. I'm looking at the top 6 though, and I see nobody that Cam Young would not pair well with, and Sam Burns too. They both seem like really good guys, really good players, team players. So like you said, it's really close.
I'd also like to find out who is less, who's got more cojones. Like,
yeah, sure.
Who's not going to get lost or intimidated on the moment. If it goes to, we got to get like, who is the more clutch of the two? So I would find out what tournaments they finished well in. Did they back up on Sunday? Did they go forward on Sunday and get a win 3-stroke? I want to know who's got the internal fortitude to rise up and win the cup for me. If I had to pick, I'm going Cam Young.
Okay.
But again, as I've told the listeners and viewers, really, I think with those two, you'd have to do a bit of a deeper dive. And, what I want to know, if one of those guys had a really, strong friendship with another guy that I thought would pair well, that may influence my choice because it's really a tough one.
Okay, so you picked 2 players that Zach Johnson picked. You picked 2 of his 6.
I picked Morikawa I picked Brooks Koepka. Yeah. Other than that, I switched him out.
It shows, you know what it shows? It's in a nice way. It shows the depth of the U.S. team. I think we could field 2 teams and be competitive with both, which is a nice position for the U.S. to be in. So we'll look forward to Rome. What do you think, Alex? Do you have a final closing thought?
I would say I hate to say this, but I'm not looking forward to the Ryder Cup as much as I have in previous years. For whatever reason, the current team, I'm going to watch, but even the Europe team, I'm not sure if that is,
it's going to be different big time, isn't it?
The European, there's no Poulter anymore. He's gone.
I know. Okay? No Sergio, no gone. Lee Westwood.
Now, these guys are not just gone because they're live. I think they're gone just because they're not playing. Sergio's not 25 years old anymore, right? I mean, he's older. Poulter just, but some of the faces that you and I have been used to seeing, and some of the drama that makes the Ryder Cup. Tiger, he's not here, so
I know.
gosh, you'd love to see Tiger. You love to see him go head to head. Obviously, listen, we all get old. Phil was a big part of the Ryder Cup for many, many years.
Yeah.
He's in his 50s now. He's not even close. Even if he was not on live, he wouldn't be on the team. He's just, his game's not there. But it's also, I think, 52 or 53. So there's going to be a lot of this. There's new faces, and we just. I still think it's great drama. I will watch it, but again, I don't know if I'm as excited. I think part of it is also I don't know the course. When you know the course, you're like, oh, I can't wait to see the part. Well, we're going to have to watch the course on TV and see if it's good drama. I mean,
maybe it'll grow on us. It'll grow on us. The players, the course, the environment.
The last time Bryson played in the Ryder Cup, do you remember? He drove the first green.
The first green. I think he made the putt too. Made eagle to start.
You're like, oh my gosh, we're coming. We are coming.
I know.
This guy gets up and drives the first. That course is not set up for. They didn't think really people were going to drive the green. It wasn't a long hole, but I mean, that's just such cool TV. So am I going to miss that a little bit? Yeah. I'm going to miss Bryson. Again, I don't know if he was well-liked or not, but I thought he made great TV. And he's one of the best out there, Joe. He really is.
Absolutely.
He's a top 10 player in the world, I think.
He's out of the box. People love him. The crowds love him. Any given tournament, like he shot 58. To win the live event. I mean, just special talent. When I think of the only players, I think him, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods, only players to have won an NCAA championship, a U.S. Amateur, and a U.S. Open.
Right.
I mean, he's just a special
player. Guy.
Yeah.
He
like him or not.
He's also, I would say, he's on form. He's playing good now. So I'm going to miss, not seeing these guys.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And he's a Mr. America type of guy.
Bryson, Brooks. I want to see those guys.
I know. He's a Mr. America type of guy, too. And the one last thing I would say is, I love Davis Love. I love him back in the day. But, it's time for a change there, too. I don't know why he's Zach's assistant captain. I think he obviously had input. And he likes who he likes, and I don't think he likes Liv very much, Dave. So I don't think there was any way with Davis having any say that any more Liv players were going to get in them. So it's too bad. I think, like you said, Zach had a little too many chefs kind of spoiling the soup there, cooks in the kitchen. And he did the best he could. We'll have to wait to see what happens, Alex. So what do you think? Do you think we should call it a wrap? I think we covered some cool topics.
Let's wrap it up. I think we got a little rewind coming, maybe. I think you mentioned. And then,
I'm going to take a little dive into the Ryder Cup points, but I think you're right about it. But yeah, we'll wrap up the show. Alex, it was a pleasure, as it always is, catching up with you and talking golf.
Sure.
I hope everybody who listened enjoys it as much as we do doing it. And we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thank you.